But I want to talk about another thing that I'm biased about.
Okay. What do you got?
Can I wrap up that finished it and jump into the next one?
Let's do it.
Sick. The other thing that I finished in the past week.
Past week. That's in one of the pop culture and politics sound bites, sorry.
Is the musical production A Chorus Line. Now, A Chorus Line is a musical production from 1975. And guess what?
It feels like it?
It's about dance.
Hey!
So I thought I'd pair these two together a little bit because I think that there's quite a lot of parallels.
Interesting.
What do you know about A Chorus Line?
It is a musical. Mm-hmm. It's about a bunch of dancers who do an audition or a series of auditions.
They're doing an audition.
And they every time when it's their turn to dance, they flash back and you hear about their story and their struggles.
Not really, but
Shit.
close.
And that's kind of actually all I know.
All right. A Chorus Line, what it is I'll just say what you said, but better. Is that okay?
Please.
Great.
Please.
A bunch of dancers are in New York and they're auditioning to be a part of a chorus line. Chorus line is a line of, dancers.
Like the ensemble in the back of a thing?
Yeah, but
or?
specifically for dancing. They don't really sing. Despite being called a chorus.
Sounds great.
Yeah. So they...
The chorus in classical Greek. Sorry, that's more text from a different dance performance I did about 6 years ago.
You need to shut your brain off. Focus on the present, Reuben.
Can't. It's deep. It's deep in my psyche.
This whole show, we have the line of auditionees and the auditioner, for the most part, in the audience, the director of the show.
Hang on. The director of the show in the musical.
Yes.
So an actor who's pretending to be the
director
is in the real audience.
Yes, is in the real audience.
Great, just check.
And sat right behind me.
Oh!
So
that's
was a
great.
very fun experience. And they are going through this sort of afternoon, evening, I guess whole day maybe, because it's a long audition, auditioning these dancers to figure out who they want in the chorus. And the director sucks, kind of.
Great.
Like the director very quickly into this audition, after seeing them learn a few of the dances and practicing a little, is like, great, I've seen some of you dance. We'll get to more dancing later. However, tell me everything depressing about your childhood. And
I love whoever wrote this show because they clearly had a vendetta.
Well, I'll tell you about the history of this show. So this show was actually written, I can't remember the name of who, but it was conceived, it's a concept musical technically. It was conceived through the means of getting a bunch of Broadway dancers together in a room and them all telling their stories about how they got there, what their childhood was like, how they got into dance.
And then monetizing that pain.
And then somebody monetized it. One of the people there was like, this would make a great show. I'm going to do this. And what's interesting is all of the characters are based on real life people. However, their backstories sometimes will switch.
Yeah, okay.
In the way of, I think that this particular tidbit of this person's experience with their parents would actually work better with person B's.
Yeah. Human lives don't fit well into narratives, not neatly. So that makes sense.
Yeah. So that's how it was sort of made. And it's, it's a real, what's Scorsese's newest work called?
Killers of the Flower Moon?
Oh, no. Is it Scorsese? Who's the one doing that
Hugo.
big one? No, the big one.
Oh, fucking Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah.
Megalopolis.
It's a real megalopolis.
A chorus line is a real megalopolis. In
the
what
way
sense?
of just, it's a love letter to...
Oh, sure. It's a real Babylon, if you will.
It's a real Babylon.
Is it also bad? Like those two things?
I thought that it
Haven't
was
seen
really
Megalopolis,
so this
full disclosure.
I don't think anyone but because they showed it at Sundance and then they were like, and they're trying to get it picked up by any distribution and no one's taking it.
Because they need to pay an actor to be involved in the screening.
Do they?
Yeah, there's a bit where Adam Driver talks to a person who has to appear. So like, how do you even schedule that? How do you distribute that? Who gives the actor the line? I didn't know that was... Is it a cinema star? It's a thing.
This specific production of A Chorus Line, I will also
It's like a chorus line. They talk to someone who... Okay, it's fine.
I will also give some disclosure here.
Oh, yeah.
Once again, I'm acknowledging some biases. I did natural. The graphic design for the poster and marketing.
It's very good.
The branding. Thank you.
Excuse me, I'm yawning, but that does not indicate my view on the graphic.
No, because you just got back from an international flight.
It's true.
And so, yeah, I have some biases there. Some people in the show I've worked with before.
Yeah.
But I really want to give a full review of this, including a star rating.
Okay.
For the reason of the company that put this on, Theatrical, they post like their reviews online of like, here's the star rating and here's, what this reviewer had to say about this.
So you want to put the stinishedit name up in the chorus line world, and you want to put your graphic from a chorus line up in the stinishedit episode art. You just really want to put it all out there.
Yes.
That's great. I'm here for that.
Yeah.
Am I implicated in the star rating?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's fine.
It's a stinishedit.
That's fine.
It's a stinishedit review.
Okay.
Just like if you review something badly, I have to apparently go along with it.
Okay.
Jack 2 is fine, I guess.
Oh, yeah. This is a good rule.
So this was a very good show. I went to opening night. I also got comp tickets. That's another thing I
hope that it says 5 stars. This was a very good show. Stinishedit. Every line you say now, I'm just imagining like, what's the funniest one?
What's the funniest clip they're getting at? It's showing for the next 2 weeks at the National Theatre in St Kilda. And I also did see a rehearsal of this show a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was floored when I saw the rehearsal, and that was before seeing it in the space,
Lights, costume tech,
all of that stuff. And I think that I spoiled myself.
I was gonna say that goes one of two ways,
which is annoying because the first time I saw it, just because everything's new and how bombastic it was, and I had, in researching the show, because I hadn't seen it before, and I needed to do the graphics and such, I really wanted to get into the nitty-gritty, find out the history of it, listen to the music. I listened to the music. I didn't get it.
Oh,
it sounded bad.
Okay.
And then I saw a rehearsal of the show, and it clicked.
Yeah.
And it's a very chaotic, very bombastic, constantly things happening musical.
Because when you described this, I imagined that it would be like Jane's part of 6 just many times. Like, brief bit where all the chorus do a dance as part of, like, now we're doing the next phrase, everyone, or now we're going to try this. And then one person says, but I'm an orphan, for 3 minutes. And then it's like, next bit, I thought it would be like that.
It's a bit like that.
Okay.
But often what happens...
But it's not, you're saying bombastic and chaotic and things happening, which none of those 3 were things that appeared in my head when I heard the description of this musical.
Bombastic, chaotic, everyone rehearsing for during this audition, learning the audition dance. And then someone will be asked to give a specific backstory or whatever.
Yeah.
And they'll be giving their backstory. And then halfway through, the lights will cut from them to everyone else in the background singing about their similar experience relating to it. So about like, there's a whole section about puberty, kind of. Like, I think, what's the song called? I don't know what the song's called, but it's like 12, 13, something like that. Yeah. This is 12, this is 13, or something like that. I don't know. I don't know how it goes. I've only seen it twice.
Listen to the music.
Once and didn't enjoy it. So, that's
1 star.
going on.
I listened to the music once and didn't enjoy it.
The Broadway version, though, of course.
Of course.
That is going on. So everyone's dancing and singing their little tidbit of how that relates to them.
Yeah.
While the person who is giving their monologue is shaded in the light and is still moving and acting like they're still talking to the director. But the focus is on sort of everyone else.
And they're singing.
They're not singing, but everyone else is singing.
Huh. Their monologue. They're speaking.
But it does a theatre. Reuben, if you're in theatre, you can act like you're talking without talking, and people will think that you're talking, but you can't hear. It's the illusion of theatre.
Oh, I understand.
They're miming as if they're talking.
I understand. Sorry, yes. You're talking about when the lights are back on them. And then when the lights are on the one person who's talking again?
The person that the lights are on.
Are they singing?
Well, they might be singing or they might be talking.
Okay, great. I was confused and now I'm less confused.
Okay, great. So a lot of it's like that. It starts with one person, it cuts to everyone sort of thing, and it goes back. And that's sort of how the bombastic stuff happens. There's some great choreo in this show, especially at the end of that song. I think it's Hello 12, Hello 13. Something like that. I don't know. Something like that. Where everyone's sort of spinning in these circles. It's really interesting.
Wait a minute. Yeah, go on.
A large, like a set ensemble of characters that's large enough that they can do these interesting shapes choreographically, but also like small enough that you have just like it's not a massive cast. But they're doing this. They're spinning in opposite circles within each other.
Yep.
But when they're closer to the front, they like sort of squat down. But you don't really. It's not done in a gross way. It's like, oh, you're clearly like hunched over or whatever. But it gives this incline effect that just looks gorgeous and really good. And a lot of other people that I talked to about it were very impressed with the choreography. I was highly impressed with the choreography.
Do you know who did the choreo? Do you want me to check while you have a chat? I just tried to find the Hello 1213 song. I think it might be part of a montage or something because I cannot find it on any of the soundtracks.
The choreographer was Louise Panagiotitis.
Great.
Apologies if I pronounce that wrong, but good job on the choreo.
Well done, Louise.
Some standouts that I really noticed, like straight from the start, the character of Sheila, played by Amanda Rosen Flannery. Oh my God, that character is so entertaining. And she did a great job with her.
What's Sheila's deal?
Sheila's deal is she's...
Give me the real Sheila deal, if you will.
Very good.
Thank you.
She's a bit aggressive.
She's a Brit? I've heard enough.
You know how Brits are aggressive?
Yeah.
But she's a bit like, ooh.
This is Jett
conniving.
Exploding, trying not to use a gendered term like catty.
I wouldn't say
really,
catty.
So many words are loaded.
But
listeners, you may not hear it because our software edits it out, but there's been some long silences while Jett tries to describe what the real deal of Sheila is.
Like, she flirts with the director in a very sort of, not a really sexy way, but in a sort of sly, conniving kind of way, and gets like visibly and actively upset and is very short and kind of has a short temper.
A short Brit, jeez.
But it was just really good, and just the way that she, I don't know, vocalizes the dialogue really gets you in. Really gets you in.
All right. Okay.
That was a big standout that I noticed.
Amazing.
From the start. But you mentioned 6 before.
I did.
I have a note here that says ACL versus 6. Judgment.
It's like Terminator Judgment Day. A chorus line versus 6, the final call.
So the reason I wrote that was because where 6, the premise is, hey, we're all here for a pop star competition show. You judge which of us is the best. This doesn't do that, but it sort of has an innate version of that where the director is literally in the audience, sometimes sitting directly behind you, judging these people.
Is the director mic'd?
The director is mic'd. Asking them questions, trying to figure out which ones he wants for the chorus. And you as the audience, literally from the same perspective.
Yeah, that's...
Sort of, you do the same.
You're a bit
You pick your favorites.
Ooh,
You figure out who you want and who you don't. To the point where when this show first opened, one of the main characters, Cassie, who we find out throughout the show has had a prior relationship with the director.
Yikes.
She originally got cut, but the people revolted, and so she didn't. But yeah, so you really do pick your favorites, I guess, and it sucks because some of the ones that have the best like performances or the best songs don't get in.
Yep.
But you get why, and some of the ones that have, I don't know, you don't like do get in.
Yeah. How far past the audition process does it get? Like,
So you see the whole thing is the audition process. At the very end, you find out who the director picks. And then the last sort of song / the bows is the performance.
Yeah.
But it also has everyone in it.
Okay, yeah.
Not just the people who got picked.
Because they have to bow.
And it's,
Yeah. Okay, interesting. And it's the same people every time the show happens.
Yes.
They get picked, yeah.
Yes, it is. Something really interesting when they do so how I was talking about before, the songs where they transition from one person speaking to individuals giving their sort of commentary on how, like their puberty experience or their experience auditioning for a particular thing or their first time going to Broadway or whatever, is they use connecting words. Like one person will be saying their sentence, and then you know what the next word's going to be, and another person picks up that word and runs with that.
That's cool.
Which is really cool. And
That's
something
neat.
that I noticed in the Yellow Wheel show happens when using the audio clip.
Yes. Yeah.
You use connecting words. That was just
That's
an
cool.
interesting through line. There was a great song that happens while Cassie and Zach, the director, are having an argument, which happens on the stage.
Oh.
So the whole time on the stage they have a literal line that the chorus stands on. And just before this, she dances for Zach as her sort of audition, and she's incredible. And there's one bit where she's dancing literally on the line, doing all of these moves, these pirouettes, all these different flippy things all along this one line, which is stunning. And then Zach comes on stage and they have an argument about he's not going to hire her because she's too good for the chorus. And she's like, I'm doing a reset. I'm not hired with this other stuff. These fans that are fans of me actually don't know that I'm not good enough to get these lead roles. I'm here because I want to be on the chorus. And Zach is like, fuck you, you deserve more than this. I'm not going to hire you for the chorus.
Respectfully, that's crazy.
Yes. And they have this argument while on the line as well, while they're moving up and down the line. And the rest of the auditionees are behind them doing a dance, and then they're singing something, and it ends with them just yelling 1, 1, 1, because a lot of these songs have like counts in them that they're singing.
That's kind of sick.
And it's this really ominous, sort of creepy 1, 1 as this argument finishes, and it's like, do you want to be a part of this one? Like this one. This is like not seen as they're individuals. They just seem as one gross unit. And then Cassie says, see all these people here, like they work so hard for this. I would do anything to be a part of like this chorus. So it's like, oh, maybe it's like the one unit that is good, positive. I don't know.
That's good.
But also, Zach's obviously looking for individuals and wants to hear the individual stories and passion. So it's really a story about individuality in dance choruses, and I don't know. You have to present. In the end, he wants Cassie to present as.
Yes.
She has to present as one of the lines.
Yes.
She can't stand out.
Yeah.
But he
You
wants to
can't pull
find the
focus.
standouts. I don't know. Yeah. It's.
Oh,
it's
that does
interesting.
sound good. Should I listen to the? You said that you listen to the music and it because some musicals.
The
we talk
music's
about
not
this all-
going to help you.
Okay.
You should see the show. You should see the show. A couple more standouts that I really want to mention, and then I will also mention a couple of critiques that I had. Actually, I'll mention a couple of critiques now. The pictures that they had at the start. So there's a bit at the start where they have to give their resumes and their headshots. So all the people on the chorus line hold up a headshot in front of their face. The headshots felt a bit too modern, and I know for this they were setting it in the 70s when the show came out. But normally when you do a chorus line, you do it in whatever modern day it is.
Yep.
But it seemed like the headshots were the actors' individual headshots. I was like, you could have just taken headshots in a particular way and just, I don't know, obviously not in the same place or maybe with different backdrops or whatever. So it was just a little bit immersion breaking there. And then there was I felt like that maybe this is how it's traditionally done, but the stage, it's like just a brick backdrop with a set of mirrors, like it's done in a dance studio. The mirrors move, which was very exciting when that happened because it made some cool angles.
Yeah, that's great.
But yeah, I felt like there could have been a bit more. They had dance bags, but only a few, like that were sort of out and almost in the wings. And I feel like if I saw those a bit like against the brick wall a bit, then it would have just added a bit more placement.
You don't like conceptual set design or like minimalist. It's one of the only areas where you're like, show me what you do.
Yeah, show
make
me
it
the place
represent
that you're in.
itself. Yeah, interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. One standout, which was a lot, which made me cry, was Nathan's performance as the character Paul, who gives a monologue, like a lot of the characters do. They have their individual monologue. Except this one isn't sung, and that's fine. A few of them aren't sung. And he's giving this monologue about how he got into dance and how he sort of got into it through these queer clubs in New York, in Harlem maybe, the Upper East Side, and that how it changed his relationship with his parents and things like that, and how they didn't know. It's a very emotional story. And this whole time, Nathan does a great job of drawing you in, because I could hear nobody like breathing. throughout it. And afterwards, when you looked around, yeah, people had tears in their eyes. Like, it was really sad. But this is the only one, I think, that never cuts away. Like, you hear the whole story, and it's like over a 5-minute monologue.
Wow.
And it's not sung, it's not anything, it's just spoken.
That's a lot of restraint for theatre.
Right?
Wow.
So I was very surprised, I guess, that it's not, I don't know. I guess the show really wants to highlight that particular story, and I think it's worth hanging there, picking one to hang on, rather than moving the spotlight away from them to the dancers. To be like, I danced in a gay club once.
Yeah. But my parents were supportive and I had a great time. Oh, well, that's good, but I was kind of invested in the other thing.
Yeah.
Trauma sells, goddammit.
Trauma sells, which is what this show is about.
Yeah.
And there is some dance trauma. And that's the last thing that I really wanted to... one of the reasons I really wanted to bring this on the show with you is because there's this bit in which Zach, the director, goes to the auditionees and says, what would you do if you found out today's the day you couldn't dance anymore? And all of them kind of have a bit of a crisis about it.
Yeah.
It ranges from people being like, well, I've been thinking I'd probably open up a dance school maybe. Would that just be cheating? Would that be calling it? That's Sheila's character, that's what she says. Some characters like, I don't know what I would do. I couldn't conceive of it.
Yeah.
But it seems like this really tough question
for
these dancers of what would you do?
Yeah.
And he keeps repeating it because they keep sort of avoiding the question. It's like, no, but what? You cannot dance anymore.
Yeah.
What would you do?
Yeah, I just avoided it multiple times in my head.
Yeah.
I was like, how am I going to answer this? Yeah, it's scary, and I think about it often, and especially the more, guess I've talked before about how, I don't make a heap of money off my dancing, so I guess I'm not reliant on it in that way, but I am reliant on it for almost everything, for so many things, emotionally and socially. And I do think about, injury is the terrifying one, what if you hurt yourself really badly and you can't dance, or you can't dance the same way you used to because everyone can dance. But then there's also this kind of inevitable ticking clock, and people who age can also dance amazingly, and they can deepen their understanding of the form, of course. But there is this kind of unspoken thing that you've kind of got maybe 10 years from here before your body starts aging.
Yeah.
Which is terrifying.
Yeah, it's scary. Because it's such a physical medium.
Well, yeah. Don't know. And it's a good, it's a question that shakes us, I guess, but also a really good reminder of you should be doing the things now.
Value it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yes, that. But also you should be doing the alternatives now as well.
Okay.
I think about the way football players are some of them are starting a business or studying at university or even just investing in relationships and family because for them it's even more prominent. It's if you hit 35 or 32, you're already aging out of that. Or an injury is so prominent in sport. So I think about our colleagues in athletics a lot because they face this in a more maybe brave or a more everyday way, whereas I think in dance, I really hope I don't get injured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's probably, I don't know, at least, I feel like in ballet or something like that, it's probably more, there's a hard deadline, more traditional forms are probably similar to sport.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, this show is really about the love of creativity and the love of dance specifically, but the love of your passions. Cassie has a song where she's singing about all she needs is the music and the mirror and to dance, for Zach and that specific scene. But that's all she needs.
Yeah.
The love is the practice of it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily being the star or whatever. Yeah. And it just, I don't know, it's a really... All of the performers in this show did a great job of.
Yeah.
All of their individual bits were fantastic, but also when they came together as one, they collectively communicated, not just communicated, but made the audience feel the passion of dance. And the deep-hearted core of it. Yeah.
Big week.
Big week. Big week. Also, the hats look silly.
There's hats?
There's hats, because one of the dance at the end that has hats on and off and stuff, because it's 30s vibes. They're going for a strong 30s look.
In this musical written in the 80s, that's set sometimes now, but also sometimes set in the 70s.
No, in that the performance that they're trying to do at the end is looking for a strong 30.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I understand.
you're just
I guess I'm just
placing the
running it
timeline.
all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just placing it all.
But they bring their hats up and off, like off and then on their head.
Yeah.
Which, like, goofy as hell. And I'm sure that, they did it as best as anyone probably could.
Probably look goofy in the 30s.
But I think that it's like, I don't know, taking off a shoe and putting it back on again, but not really having it on. Like a slip, like if you have a Croc and you're just like, whoop, it's on, whoop, it's off, whoop, it's on. Whoop, it's, like it's an accessory. It's a clothing accessory. What are you doing with this? Just taking it off and on again and be like, look at this dance. It's a striptease, but just for my hair. What?
So specific, but all right, I support your passion.
It's goofy.
Star rating.
All right. Star rating. Oofed. Star rating, and it has to go on our musical board as well.
Oh, shoot.
musicals.
Well, just kind of mostly will let you do that, actually, because I haven't seen it.
I'm going to give it a 4.5.
Wow. You loved it.
Most all of the performances were really solid. There were some really strong standouts. Also, Julian, who played Zach, was very good. Proximity helped. Felt very intimidating having the director literally over my shoulder. And yeah, Cassie was phenomenal. Paul was phenomenal. Like, yeah, there were just some, phenomenal performances, really phenomenal choreography. As a whole, it really, I don't know, it gave what a chorus line I feel like should give, but also, I don't know, this is I haven't seen any other production of a chorus line. This really delivered it to me. And it might be one of my favorite musicals now.
Wow.
It embodies music. It is the megalopolis of musicals.
Excuse me. Breathed in with too much excitement. Do you think that if you now listen to the music, it would do that thing where you're like, no, this is great, actually?
I think it'll still be shit.
Oh, interesting.
Because it jumps
Something
between
about
so many.
Yeah,
Like it
okay.
starts with the monologue and then it jumps to someone else singing and then it maybe jumps to a talking for a bit. Like it's not.
It just has to be staged.
Each song is like 8 minutes long or something as well. So it's not nice snippets.
Yeah. The same problem happens with Matilda, with many musicals, but Matilda the musical has an opening like song montage. I wasn't going to say medley, but it's not even. It's just a big long narrative song with talking breaks in between. And it's like 20 minutes. And listening to it is like, what is going on right now? But on stage, it's like, I see the vision.
Yeah, you see the vision. Yeah. You see the vision. Same with this. I'm putting this in A.
Okay. Alongside?
The Sound of Music, The Lion King, Spelling Bee, Mamma Mia, Matilda, The Rocky Horror Show, and Sister Act.
Yeah, great.
It could move to S if I don't know, saw it again or really like the music. But I think also one of the things is I won't be re-listening to the music. So I don't know if it could move to S. But A is solid.
A is
I
very
highly recommend it. So then you go and see it.
Till
if
the
you're
22nd, is that right?
I don't know. Some of the dates.
Well, we'll have a link
It's on
in
in
the
September.
description, probably.
This month.
Yeah.
Check it out. That's all.